You are now listening to a Doc Martin production.
Get those nerds! Frakkin Nerds!
They say the meek will inherit the earth. We say the nerds are already in control. Welcome to the Frakkin Nerds, episode number 299. I'm your host, Doc Martin, and joining me as we're in Concave, all the way from the East Coast, it's our own Joshua. Hello, Joshua.
Hey, what's going on there, buddy?
Not much. We'll quickly move, and then we'll get into everything. And then also, from the Indiana side, it is Mr. Kennedy.
Hey, that guy still works here?
He's still on the show, yes.
Okay.
Kennedy.
So how you fellas doing? You all surviving? It's just Friday night for Concave. We're going to record 300 tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I'm still surviving.
300, are we all going to dress up?
A lot of people felt like I hadn't survived the night
No,
because
you
too much
survive.
alcohol.
We had to really help you.
We need to dress up like they do in the movie 300, just fucking topless.
No,
with...
that's tomorrow, though.
That's what I'm saying. Tomorrow we'll just dress up like that.
Today we're just dressed up in fucking match. Well, you two retards are in matching shirts.
I'm not wearing the shirt.
Joshua's become very aggressive
I am aggressive.
at Concave.
I've got a lot of alcohol in my system, unlike some other people who can't handle alcohol.
He's not talking about me.
I handled it a lot, but
No. You didn't handle
He
it.
technically had it in his hand,
it was
and
more
he
than
handled
I was
it.
expecting.
You were just like,
So apparently, what we found out is taking shots of multiple drinks while you're in a pool will catch up really, really, really quick.
I want to say drinking on an empty stomach is going to fuck you up.
That's true, too. Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah.
I also
So, yeah.
found out that your stupid little truck thing moves at the speed of smell.
Well, no, you had it on not the fast speed, so.
That thing has not made a fucking appearance.
No, I was like, okay, this is.
That was that one time. Yes,
Yeah.
today we were playing games. Nowhere to be fucking
Well, I was figuring it would have been easy.
We would have We would have been playing 3 games before he got the son of a bitch there.
But then he said, like he just said right now, it's like it has a setting of medium and high. And
Yeah, he
And
says
there's low,
that, but I
too.
want
There's
to see
low
high.
also.
I want to see high because it could be like, you know, it's moving like this, and then it's moving like this, but it's still fucking slow.
No, we
we'll
keep
see.
it. It's like an NPC player.
We can
It's
see
like,
tonight after this one. And then
Put it
after
out there.
100,
I'll race it down the hallway.
Okay.
We can like fucking come to the conclusion if it's fast. Okay.
Okay.
Well, on this show, we decided since the big movie that came out was Black Widow, why don't we do our review of it and if we liked it or not. What am I hearing?
Oh,
He was going to say flop.
Oh, flop. Okay, you felt Black Widow was a flop?
I felt like it was a flop in terms of a story.
Okay.
I mean, financially, I don't. Technically, it's not a flop, right?
No, yeah, definitely. Like it was the number one after the pandemic.
I mean, it's still a
see it.
pandemic going on.
It
right?
made.
I will get into it, but I don't see it as a flop. I think it was an interesting. See, here's the thing, and I've had this argument with you guys on the show before, but I think you guys expect too much out of media. These are movies; they're meant to take you to some other land. Not everything is supposed to be plausible. Not everything is supposed to be down to earth and exactly the way it was supposed to be in the comic books. Sometimes media is just meant to take you somewhere else for a short period of time out of your shitty-ass life where they punches you in the face every single day, and it's just supposed to be a movie, and you're just supposed to enjoy it, and you guys can't do it.
So as we'll break and rip this thing apart, we'll talk about all the problems, but the things we did like. Some of us just can't get lost. So as soon as you see issues with a movie, especially if you've read a lot of the comics, you may have some.
But Doc, you
concerns.
go into a movie waiting for the first fuck up.
No.
Yeah, you do.
No, it doesn't. I hate it because then it takes.
You know what,
out
you
of a
guys
movie,
get
too.
in the comments. Get in the comments, and we'll see how many agree with me on this one.
No one's gonna get in the comments.
Yeah, nobody's gonna get in the comments. I mean,
Why the fuck do we do this show?
For shits and giggles.
for our own fun. There are people to watch it.
This is just an amalgamation of our lives going. This is kind of like a tracking of history with us. And, you know,
No, I mean
we'll look back on it later
we've
on
got
and listen to
viewerships.
it.
We've got listeners.
We got people
Well,
that
then
watch
maybe
it.
people
You know,
will
we
get in
got
the
people
comments.
Bronx
Yeah.
that watch it and make fun of
But yeah,
it
they
with
typically
them.
they don't comment. They don't go to
They
the
don't
YouTube
comment.
or comments. But they
They
can. They
watch.
can. They can.
So,
So we start off the movie. We're in Ohio. We've got 2 little
what
girls.
is it with MCU in Ohio?
Who
Winter
else was-
Soldier, Ohio.
Was that in Ohio also?
Yes, I was in Ohio.
I don't know.
Remember, he went to Ohio to find the old fucking Russian guy that was hiding out. Zemo. Remember, it was Ohio.
Is that where they were keeping him? Is in
That's
Ohio?
no, that's where he was hiding out. That's not where they were keeping him.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if I was to put this from a distance standpoint, technically cutting across 80 on Pennsylvania, it's pretty quick to get to New York. If a lot of stuff happens in New York with Marvel.
I can tell from personal experience taking the Greyhound bus from New York to Ohio. That's like a 9-hour drive.
What was that thing?
What? No. No, I've driven it. It's not 9 hours.
Well, like I told you, Greyhound.
Right, Greyhound's shit, man. It took me fucking 2 days to get from Louisville to to Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, no, it's completely crazy.
Wait, how is that even possible when it's like a 5-hour drive from Louisville to Missouri to St. Louis?
It's 5 hours to St. Louis, yeah,
down.
but Springfield's at the bottom of Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're in Ohio.
In the movie.
In the movie, correct. Yes. And we got Yelena and Natasha. And Yelena has not...
Can I say this for that part, though? It was a little confusing as to which one was which.
No, it wasn't confusing, because you kind of thought...
Well, okay, so
one was a boy, one was a girl.
Well, no, that's not what I was... So I watched with
need
subtitles.
You to chime in here.
Well, if you also think about it, look how often Natasha changes her hair color. So you knew the older one.
I guess that... I didn't apply that.
If you know Yelena's the younger sister.
We knew who the Yelena was, but my argument was when you get introduced to them in that family, that looks like a boy.
Yeah,
right
okay, I had that discussion.
That was my argument.
And I was like, Stacey's like, well, who's the boy? I said, that's Natasha. She's like, no, it's not. I was like, yeah, that's Natasha.
Okay, so Stacey thought that was a boy.
Yes.
So a woman thought that was a boy.
Yeah.
You could see where the confusion is.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I watched with subtitles, and so like the way it would work was like somebody would say something, and then it would attach a name to him, because I thought the older one was Natasha, but then like the way the subtitles they would say something and it would flip, it would say Natasha when the young one would talk, and so it kind of really I'm like, okay, wait a minute, maybe something's not right here, maybe I'm not catching it the right way, maybe Natasha got her hair color changing thing from whoever this older person is, and then it finally fucking played out and said who each one was, but yeah, the subtitles kind of fucked me up there in the beginning.
Yeah, no, that was Natasha and Yelena.
Yeah, there was no confusion there.
I wasn't a real big fan of the young girl that they had playing Natasha. Did look nothing like her, but I mean that's what it was. So apparently they were undercover agents for Russia, and as they try to escape, you think what do you think the police are after them? But it's actually S.H.I.E.L.D. that is chasing them down,
which makes sense.
Yes, they apparently stowed a chip. Which you'll come to find out was to control people.
That's what it was?
Yes.
Okay,
it wasn't a chip to control people. Yeah, it was a disc with the information on how to okay. people.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, it was a little floppy.
Well, no, you got to be specific because there are like chip. What was that? That was like there was some movie. Scott Pilgrim, where he had that chip on the back of her neck. So you can't say just it was a chip. It was a data disc.
It was a hard drive.
Yeah,
it was a hard disk.
That's the word we're going with, huh?
Yeah, that's the word we're going with.
It wasn't a chip. It wasn't a chip. That's not how chips work.
And then we come and also find out they were never really family, and they hand over the little girls.
Excuse you, sir.
They handed those
They
little girls.
establish that they are family.
So that really
by the end.
No, because they're not real family. With what's his name who plays the Red Guardian.
David Harbour.
Yeah, he was like he said he was
yeah.
extremely bored. He was ready to be back, being the Red Guardian.
Right, but then by the end of the movie, decides that he wanted what he had before.
Yes, he wanted to pick.
See, it was a story with a moral.
It really wasn't their father.
No.
Okay.
Both of those girls were from the Red Room. That was the whole thing. Was that they borrowed them from the Red Room Project to be this fake family.
Okay.
I don't think
you see them taking fake pictures.
I don't think Yelena was in the Red Room yet. She was
not yet.
No,
she was about to go.
But
they don't
had already gone through it.
Yeah.
And they had just been training her.
They were. She started
the last 3
it.
Years.
She was halfway through or whatever.
All right. Well, that's interesting to know.
And then the movie continues on. It finishes. It starts us right after that, after Civil War. So they've been hunting down a lot of those characters, like Black Widow. Still looking for Captain America. They said they had gotten Ant-Man, Hawkeye.
So we can establish this movie happened after Civil War?
It happened after Civil War, yes.
Which I think is fucking hilarious.
Why is that?
Well, because do we all remember what happened at the end of Civil War? What Black Widow did?
Yeah, she fought T'Challa.
No, she helped them escape.
Yeah.
Right, because she fucking stopped T'Challa with
Okay.
the thing.
So you don't think right then and there someone tried to capture her?
They did. They addressed that in the movie.
Yeah.
How?
They said after what she goes after what I did.
Yeah, but she was still on the run.
Yeah,
they didn't capture her.
Right, but that's at the end of the movie. The same thing. They didn't capture her.
No, I'm just saying there's a continuing problem in my eyes, though.
I don't
That's
think
just-
so. She was running. She ran. That was her thing.
We got an appearance by General Ross. Who is
Okay,
Old-
so I do have to talk
old
about
ass
that.
William Hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't typically complain about a lot of this stuff like you guys do, but in this scene, for some reason, it looked like they CGI'd his face onto another body. Watch it again. It's crazy. It really does look like they CGI'd his fucking face onto somebody.
He's an old guy.
I get it, but I think they were trying to de-age him or something.
They didn't
so
need
it
to
made
Nah,
de-age
sense.
him.
I
We're
did-
not that far.
no.
Not like him trying to be a young Ross. I
No.
mean,
And
Yeah, but-
they have issues where moving forward, I'm just saying if the actor's that old, if he's going to be the Red Hulk, they need to try to do something because it's not looking good.
that's butterscotch right there.
That is a mistake.
Yeah, that is a mistake.
You see him
For
not
those
jumping
who-
at it though.
For those who don't understand what's going on, Doc went ape shit crazy last night when he had butterscotch.
Well, it's because I was given
99.
these shots. It was like blackberry and banana, and they were all like really strong.
You know
And-
what's weird though? I had those shots too, and on top of other stuff, and I was fine on an empty stomach. Right around Kennedy.
I mean, I was fine too. Yeah, it was.
I mean,
crazy.
you didn't drink anything, so shut
I
the
mean,
fuck
that's
up.
true.
You weren't on an empty stomach. You were.
No,
eating.
I was
He
on.
was.
I
He
was
was
on
totally
an
on an empty
I was on an
stomach.
empty stomach.
Yeah.
But you weren't
But
in the pool.
He didn't actually
We-
get to eat that pizza before we got back.
I did not really. I only had like maybe like 3 slices and 2 pieces of cheesy bread. So
Not enough to absorb alcohol.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But then our buddy Mitchell gave me some of that ganja, and I was just like fucking done. And I enjoyed my cookies and milk.
Him and his cookies and milk.
That's right.
Well, as Natasha is trying to get away from Thaddeus Ross, she is hiding in Norway. She has Rick Mason, who is supplying her with the needs that she is at the safe house she is at, and then we move on to Yelena in Budapest.
You know, some people were saying when this came out that they were their initial response to it was that they felt like it was her story, not Black Widow's story. But I don't feel that. I feel like it was definitely more about Natasha than it was Yelena, and I appreciated the parts where they put Yelena in there as kind of like a breaker to add to the story to make you feel for her. So when her and Natasha was together, you weren't just like, "Who's this fucking person that I don't give a shit about?" You know, they actually gave you something to care.
I mean, I guess you can see it that way. I didn't see it as really watching the movie. It didn't feel like a Black Widow movie. It just felt like, and given what we've been given in Disney Plus, this was better off being a fucking series, in my opinion.
They do fantastic with their series.
Yeah, and this should have been a series.
I could see that.
It felt like a discombobulated movie. Because honestly, in watching it, you really don't feel as the Black Widow. You don't feel Natasha's the main character.
No, it was Yelena. They were billing
See,
her.
I don't
'cause
feel- I feel like-
no, it was a passing of the
No.
torch of the characters.
I don't feel like it was a passing of the torch, though.
Why?
I just felt like it was just
The
Whose
fucking
story
after
was it
credits
then?
it was
scene.
just a story.
Yeah, but the after credit scene is kind of this whole
I mean,
continuation of Yolanda. But
but we get-
I don't
we'll
like
get
where
to
that.
that,
I don't
though.
like where that's going. But
But if you remember, Doc, we had a conversation where it was like when we saw Falcon and Winter Soldier, and what they said originally, the person who was supposed to be in that after credit scene was supposed to. That was her first introduction.
Oh yeah.
And it would have made more sense if we seen her and then in the Black Widow movie and then we went to Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
But then somebody fucking opened their mouth and said, well, originally she was supposed to come out. They could have just shut the fuck up and just said, oh, we introduced her first in Falcon and Winter Soldier and then she went to the Black Widow movie.
But they got to explain the character a little bit better in the
In Falcon and Winter
Yeah.
Soldier, right?
yeah.
So it would have made sense just to keep quiet and never tell us that tidbit of information, right?
I mean, yeah.
that really, it,
What's
it
the
really
same
was
thing as
messed up
the
that that
issue
was
with
the
Loki,
only
too.
tie-in to anything fucking else.
No,
Right.
because that's the thing, and this is it goes back to when we talked about this another. I was like, Disney was so fucking like dead set on not putting this movie out when it should have been, because Disney could have easily said, you know what, we're just gonna put it on Disney Plus, Premiere Access, 2 years ago, before when this thing started.
Yep.
And at least we would have had a better understanding. At least we would have been like, oh, that's the lady from the Black Widow movie.
Yep.
But they were like, no. And then she was fucking in the fucking this show. And then she even said it. She's like, well, originally I was supposed to be in the Black Widow movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of like, well, what the fuck did you do? Not to say that it ruined anything. I'm not going to say it ruined anything. But, honestly, the Black Widow movie was so hyped. Watching the movie, we'll talk about it more. But that movie wasn't as big as they thought it was going to be.
Here's how I feel about it now, is that I don't feel like it was a AAA title or anything like that. It honestly, with the way that we've all enjoyed the Disney Plus series, we've been moving through, did it not feel like that was just like a transition thing to get it? Because it definitely set up Hawkeye's series that's getting ready to come out.
You're absolutely right. But
So
here's the thing,
it
though.
felt like, it didn't feel like a movie. It did feel like a movie, but it felt more of like a, let's pass the time until we can get to the Falcon show.
Okay, but
Or
here's the thing, though.
the Hawkeye show.
And I wanted Doc to chime in here.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it have made more sense to have Hawkeye on deck, ready to go after this movie came out?
Like drop the movie and then drop the first episode?
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is they could have. I mean, like, how long to like what if? So, but yeah, I mean, otherwise they should have just kept Hawkeye.
And I have to stress we are jumping the gun here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, and we kind of have to cover other stuff. But going into it, you kind of go, fuck, why wouldn't they have Hawkeye, the first episode of Hawkeye, ready to go within the first month after this movie dropped?
It's not going to be ready this first month. But I'm wondering if maybe they did wait on Black Widow because the Hawkeye show wasn't ready.
No, because they were shooting pre-pandemic. They were shooting episodes for the Hawkeye show.
Right. But I'm saying it's not ready yet. But
then why make that
because
that
if they would have dropped Black Widow, they would have had to drop Hawkeye first.
That's what I'm saying. Why not have Hawkeye on? Why not have the Black Widow movie ready and have the first episode of Hawkeye ready to go? Because given that ending,
They should have now that they waited so long to drop it.
That's what I'm saying. Even if they didn't wait that long, because if we would have watched that movie when it came out pre-pandemic, if they said, you know what, push it out there, put it for Disney Premier Access, we watch that ending, we're gonna be like, well, what the fuck just? Because I also have a fucking gripe about that.
That would be a long ass fucking cliffhanger.
That is a long ass cliffhanger because you don't have Hawkeye on deck.
No, I mean, you could have easily just put the Eternals movie and shown that, because I don't think that's going to be really connected to anything.
Well, we don't know.
Is that the one that's got Angelina Jolie in it and all that? I think I saw the clip for that.
Horrible, just horrible.
He hates the Eternals.
Okay, so can we say
boring.
that? I know we're jumping here, but I hate. What is it, Julia Louis-Dreyfus or whatever? I fucking hate her. I've hated her since Seinfeld, and I just seeing her in a series that I love, I'm just kind of like, ugh.
She's
Well,
really
her
good.
character is
She's really
actually
good in
really
Veep.
good.
I don't know who her character's supposed to be. So
there's like instances where I think me and Doc talked about it.
is it
where
like she's the new Hydra or something?
I don't know if she's connected to Hydra or she's connected to something else. But the theory is she's setting up the new Thunderbolts. And my thing is, though, if they set up the new Thunderbolts, I'm thinking about it, right? We got U.S. Agent.
Yep.
You got Yelena.
Yep.
We've heard rumblings that Red Hulk is coming in the She-Hulk movie. That's 3. You need 2 more characters.
Well, instead of Red Hawk or Hulk, we could be getting Abomination. Abomination is showing up as Shang-Chi. Why couldn't she recruit him?
I don't think so.
They don't,
because I think that, if I'm being honest, I think that character's a filler.
Okay.
I think that character, and if you want to be honest, the guy who portrayed Tim Roth portrays him in the movie. He never dies. He just gets beat up.
Right.
So we don't know.
Is that same universe now or no?
That is the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk is inside the MCU.
Well, that was always after Ross showed up in Iron Man, the first Iron Man. Yeah.
So that
Hulk
character, Tim Roth's Abomination, that's his Abomination. I'm just saying we don't know if that's the exact same Abomination.
Was there?
It could have been somebody else.
Was there not an Abomination in the Venom movie?
No.
No.
No. Okay.
No. There's just shitty fucking Sybionites.
Oh.
Watch your tone, bitch.
But okay, so here, okay, let me ask you this: as a non-comic book reading person, it really, and I kind of, for our group, represent like the mass majority of other people out there who are not full-on nerds at all times. It honestly feels moot. All of this. Every bit. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, all of it. That last episode of Loki has made all of this just feel like you're fucking children playing in a sandbox and gods are out there just fucking shit up. You know what I mean? Like, here we are with U.S. Agent who's got nothing but a little bit of extra strength, and this fucking guy who controls all of time has got shit going on, and Loki's got shit. You know what I mean? Like, it just... There's so much more epic power out there doing shit, and I'm supposed to care about this lady who has no powers and can kick people. Like, you know what I'm like?
No, I get what you're trying to say.
Like, how am I, as somebody who doesn't read the comic books, how am I supposed to be excited for these like regular people shows when we've just got the epicness that's going on?
Yeah, but that's saying like, oh, all I'm going to do is read Avengers because they are Justice League because of. But some of these smaller characters in their own runs, like the Hawkeye run by Matt Fraction, or there's a lot of good stuff that
I mean, and Netflix did it with, you know, Avengers had a shit ton of stuff going on, and I still watched Daredevil and cared, right?
Yeah,
like, and he's just a normal regular person, so they did. It is possible to be done. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. It feels pointless right now. With everything that's going on, with what we see coming, with the multiverse, with what we see. Like, WandaVision made sense. WandaVision, a shit ton of stuff happened that was wholly crazy. Like, really. She's got powers that can compete with others and stuff like that. But, like, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, oh, you know, he can fly and he can punch things. But both of them would get wiped out in a heartbeat by anything from the Loki show.
Not really.
I don't think.
Yeah, because
the alligator
if you
Loki
watch
would
that
take
last episode of Loki. That guy was just saying, "Oh, I just know what you're gonna do before you."
No, but Alias, like, or whatever his name is.
Who?
The fucking cloud doggy thing.
That clown doggy thing is in one general area. It's not in there.
But that's what I'm saying. So if the TVA came in right now and was like, "Hey, Tony," poof, and fucking sent him off to that thing.
But they don't do that because
they don't. But what I'm saying,
hold
like,
on. Hold on. Let me just, like, you watch Loki. You finish Loki, right?
Yeah.
From the instance, there's not really a TVA. It's a fucking prop.
Yeah,
it is. But they still can do things.
They can do things. But
they fucking play with Infinity Stones like they're fucking.
I understand that though, but they're trying to say what, in essence, what you're trying to say is like, there's multiple versions of things that you think are powerful that we don't find that powerful. What you were saying about that fucking monster, his main job was to protect that realm and make sure nobody knows who's pulling the strings. The TVA was never going to overstep their bounds because theoretically, if you think about it, the TVA could have fucking ruined Endgame. They could have been like, hey, no, we're going to stop all this shit from happening. They could have fucking stopped Thanos if they wanted to.
Yeah, because by the definition of them going back in time and bringing Thanos,
which they address in the show,
but they, like, that secondary Thanos that showed up, they could have shown up and.
Yeah, right, but because in theory, he's a variant that's causing a ripple.
Yeah, and so here's the thing: is like that guy said, "There's one way. There's one way we can do this over and over and over and over and over again. And we can survive and stuff like that." That's obviously the exact same way that Doctor Strange saw it too. There's only one,
the ancient one, right? Because when she was telling Bruce,
yeah, there's only one way that this can go down. So all of them have seen the exact same thing. Which, more than likely, Doctor Strange's vision and the Ancient One's vision came from what this guy had already done.
No, because the Ancient One was saying you need to just put everything back at that exact moment.
Right, but because we're in a loop, and if you fuck up the loop,
yeah, it causes what was it called? A fucking branch. It causes a branch, or something like that. Because that was with the what is it? He who but not named, or whatever the fuck, him without a name. You know, you're creating all these variant timelines.
He who will
remain nameless.
Yeah.
So it's like
he who remains.
Or whatever. Yeah. It was dumb. But going back to Black Widow.
I know, we're talking about Black Widow, not Loki.
I thought we were talking about both on this episode.
No. We were talking just Black Widow because he made it like known Black Widow was the episode.
Yeah. But anyways.
So Doc, lead the way.
Then we get to meet Yelena. who is her sister, who is now looking to take out apparently a rogue Black Widow.
Is she not? I feel like. Is she the one girl that's in Flash and all that, and in Legends of Tomorrow?
No.
She's in Midsummer.
Okay, but they kind of look the same, right? Those
No,
the
you're
two blonde-
talking
the
about
blonde-
White Canary.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a totally different.
the two blonde.
and
chicks,
also
yeah.
that's a DC, and that's not.
No, I
Marvel.
know that's DC. I was
Oh,
saying, I
yeah,
thought
no,
it was
it's
the same
not
actress.
No, it's not the same actress. So she is there, and then apparently gets spritzed with this red formula. That makes
Which they
her-
never actually said who did it. They just said somebody from their mother's generation did it.
created
from the older generation.
the formula.
Yeah,
to
created the
remove
formula.
it?
They never said who did it. I thought they were really going to come out and say, "Oh, well, she's like a double agent. She's been helping them, but she's been making this formula to also release the widows." Like, did I not feel like that's where it was kind of going? Was like because they said from her generation, and then here she was flipping sides. I thought they were going to say that she was the one making
Again,
it.
she could be. It could have been a power move too. That to take over for what's his name? Who was running the Red Room? Shoot, what was his name?
In the comics, is Taskmaster with the widows, or is this
No.
something completely new?
So new. It's just completely new.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was the other thing with the Taskmaster.
But we'll get into that later.
Yes. So she sends when Yelena realizes she sends the
No, wait. Say it right. When the rogue agent that she was going to kill
yes.
spritzes her with the
She
red
realized that she was under her control,
Yeah.
and that's how they've been keeping their agents doing what they need them to do without even doubting it. She runs, and then they start to attack her, so she hides the stuff and sends it to Black Widow, or Natasha, up in Norway with a picture that they had taken when they were kids to kind of remember them, to clue her in.
I have to say something. It really felt when they both meet each other in that. Was it Norway or another country?
That was Budapest.
Budapest.
It was
Because she went to
Budapest.
Budapest.
Okay, so
yeah.
she went. They went to. It felt like they didn't know who the fuck each other was. Like, is it? I maybe it was just
No,
me.
they knew, but they didn't know what their reaction was going to be.
They didn't know. Yeah, they didn't know
It just
if.
felt like they just didn't know who each other
Well,
was.
I mean, you got to think. Neither of them would know if
They
they
ain't
were
seen each other
coming
in
to
fucking
kill
years.
the other one.
Yeah,
it was just
because
weird.
it could have been a trick for the Red Room to get.
Yeah, I get it, but I just was watching that scene and how they're interacting with each other. I'm like, do they not know? Who the
I did
fuck
feel
each
like
other
the
is?
fight was completely unnecessary. Like, I get maybe testing each other for a second,
It was showing
but
that they
she
were
was
also very
literally
even.
whooping her ass, like putting her through the walls and shit. Like,
Yeah, like it just, like I said, it just felt like. They
I will
didn't
say
know
the
who
fight scenes felt real.
No, I give 100%.
Yeah, they did way better on the
This
fight
was,
scenes.
This was kind of like I didn't like the movie at all, but the fight scenes, I'll give them credit, were really good.
Like when it looked like she hit that fucking wall, it looked like she hit that
Yeah,
fucking wall.
yeah.
Like,
Now, my problem with some of the action scenes is they're not superpowered. So how do they survive so much shit?
they're trained too.
Well, theoretically, no.
Like when she got shot or something, when she fell off the roof, and she hit 2 or 3 metal things before she hit the ground. Like,
You're talking about the
how?
same woman that the Hulk fucking bitch slapped
He didn't bitch.
He didn't bitch
when
slap her.
when they were on the ship and he lost his shit
No,
and he was
he didn't.
chasing her through the thing. He knocked her.
No, he didn't.
He didn't get her. No.
I
She
think
was running away from him.
She
and
was running away, but I think he.
debris like that he knocked.
Yeah, that's
hit
what I'm
her.
saying.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah,
No, but
No,
that's
because that would kill her.
But here's
instantly.
the thing, though. They have somewhat of a super soldier serum. It's not as on par as Captain America, but it helps them be
Not to
durable.
mention, and they're trained. They're beat the hell out of.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
get-
think they have a super.
No, if you look it up, they do have some sort of above average human reflexes and strength.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, they mentioned that in the movie. They say that they're specifically picked for their genes when they're babies because that girl, she's like, my mother abandoned me. She's like, no, we searched for your genes specifically, and we made your mother an offer, but your mother was very bullheaded and commanded. But that's moving forward. But they actually addressed that. They said, hey, we search out humans that have specific genes.
See, so
Yeah.
And then also when Natasha gets the red spray or whatever the hell it's called,
the spritz.
the spritz.
You skipped a part.
Now we're going back to with the Taskmaster shows up.
Yeah, I was gonna say you skipped the part where.
now this is interesting.
So Taskmaster shows up. Really was there just to get the vials.
Yeah, the
I will say that
Uh,
I knew something was going to happen when she was driving that car, but when they did it, fucking caught me off guard.
and
Like,
they kind of like I said, Marvel Cinematic Universe is not the comics, But you kind of tell if you're a smart comic book fan, you kind of realize like once you see what the Taskmaster was looking at, it was really all just a visor. The visor's predicting the movements. And stuff
It's giving them what they should be focusing on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was just like, this is not the Taskmaster.
So, for someone who doesn't read comics, explain Taskmaster for me.
Taskmaster is an individual whose ability was he can read movements and predict what you were going to do next.
Yes.
So if he saw you fighting or he just interacts with you to a certain extent, he can predict what your next move is going to be.
So the Taskmaster that we saw in the movie was more like Tony's suit when it figured out Captain America's fighting style.
Well, that's what it does, yes.
Yeah.
And the other thing is he can counter you, but he has to either observe you or, like, because you could get the upper hand on a Taskmaster if he's never seen how you fight.
Or you can do things he can't do physically. So basically, Taskmaster can see Steve Rogers jump a whole building. He's not going to be able to jump a whole building.
Because he doesn't have that ability.
He doesn't have that ability.
But he would be able to fight the way Steve Rogers fights.
Or
utilize the shield like they show in the movie.
Yes. But he doesn't have the strength. He can't replicate strength or ability. He just really is technique. So he can watch a whole... I'll give you a prime example. He can watch someone like Hoist Gracie do jiu-jitsu, and he could be the master of jiu-jitsu like Hoist Gracie just by observing him.
Yep.
But he's not going to be able to do the strength, the feats of strength that Hoist was able to do because maybe he's not stronger than Hoist.
In one of the comics, he's actually a kind of an undercover shield agent, but...
No, actually, that's what he was.
But,
he was a shield agent.
But he's a shield agent, but undercover for them, fighting for the bad guys, and then still giving... And then what they would do is wipe his memory completely and give him a new identity and everything else.
No. Remember, he was a shield agent. He got exposed to that serum that made him even 10 times better, but in essence, it fucked up his memory. So S.H.I.E.L.D. knew what he was, and they still used him to like be a double agent, but his memory was fucked up. So originally he was just because in that 4-part
So
series,
S.H.I.E.L.D. used him the way the Russians used, or Hydra used Winter Soldier.
And apparently,
In
what is
essence.
it, like when he learns something, he loses the Otis memory or something like that?
he could, whatever new technique he learned, he would lose a little bit of memory that he had. That's why he couldn't remember who his wife was.
Well,
Again, this is the comics.
What you're telling me is so much different than the Taskmaster that we saw, which they never
Oh,
called.
yeah.
We will get into that.
They never
Lord.
said that it
But
is
this goes in.
Taskmaster.
No, they said Taskmaster Protocol.
Right.
But the thing is, though, this is MCU, so we can't expect the MCU to be the same as the comic.
And again,
Or they could bring it
and
back later.
with the
Technically
exactly
they can,
kind of like
but
what they
when-
did with the mandolin.
Mandarin.
Sorry, the Mandarin, because he was a fake out in the second Iron Man movie,
Right,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Yes. And then they like, oh yeah, we should definitely, because they didn't really know how to do it. 'cause
No,
they felt
third
like,
Iron Man. Third
But
Iron
here's
Man.
the thing, though, right? The Mandarin had rings, actual rings that go around his finger.
Yeah.
Because in the comic books, that's what he had. Shang-Chi, he's got fucking rings that go around his arms.
Yep.
And it's kind of weird. Like, it's not the source material. Because each ring represented a power, right? If I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. So they're just like, no, we're just going to reset that. But in that whole, like, fake out with Iron Man, he had 10 rings.
Which guy?
What was it? What was his name? Ben Kingsley? He was the character that
Yeah.
portrayed him?
No. Okay, so the guy, the drunken old man that was on the videos, you're not talking about him. You're talking about the guy who actually had, like, fixed his stutter and fixed his bodies from its ailments and stuff. Right?
No. Do you remember Iron Man?
Yeah, I remember everything about
Okay,
Iron Man
you remember
3.
the bad guy in Iron Man, that Middle Eastern guy? He had a ring,
Oh, the guy with the scar on his face.
scar on his face, that whatever. But you notice, like, in the back, he had, like, 10 rings. Like, their symbol was 10 rings. The Mandarin has 10 individual rings that have each.
So they just, in the MCU, they associated the man, because he wasn't in 3.
No, it was like he was an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
It was that old white guy.
It was the old white
Yeah.
guy. But
That's
if
what
you
I'm
watch
saying,
the
and
first one.
But even behind him was just that white guy that was running the industry.
No. That's Guy Pearce's character. That's the
Right.
extremist. But if you watch for the part one, you see that the Terracell, he's like, we are part of the 10 rings, and he even had a ring to symbolize like we follow a bigger guy, and that bigger guy was supposed to be the Mandarin. But in Iron Man 3, they kind of was like, they made this Mandarin a fake.
So there's still a Mandarin out there. And
no, I think what happened was they were like, we need a bad guy for Shang-Chi. And the Mandarin was, Doc, back me up here or tell me if I'm wrong. The Mandarin was never a villain for Shang-Chi. I don't know. Can you... He was always...
I feel like they were just like, hey, this is a good way we could bring this character in.
Shang-Chi is the new hero for hire, or rather the new hero movie that's coming out in September.
Okay, that's what I didn't know about.
But they made the Mandarin a bad guy for him, and I don't think the Mandarin has ever been a bad guy for him. The Mandarin, for all intents and purposes, was always an Iron Man bad guy.
Yeah.
Doc?
Yeah, and that's why they brought him into that, but it was a fake out.
You ended that storyline, so what do you do?
Not really. Because here's the argument. In Iron Man 3, we realized the Mandarin that they presented was a fake. So you were supposed to tell us who's really behind the scenes, right?
Which was the extremist guy.
Yeah.
Was the extremist guy, but you were supposed to say, hey, who's the real Mandarin? They never did that.
Because now as a normal person, I don't even think the Mandarin is a thing.
Yeah, so I think what happened was the people who were... Because at that point, I don't think Marvel was under Disney, right? At that point?
No, not yet.
So they were just like, we have a plan, but Marvel got bought out by Disney and all this other shit happened. They were like, well, we have a new plan, but we need Iron Man to be the savior for the next 2 films, or the Avenger films. And they were just like, well, what are we going to do with the Mandarin? So let's put him in Shang-Chi. Either he's going to get rubbed out at the ending, or if something happens where they were like, oh, we can use him in our back pocket.
I feel like Shang-Chi's going to get the bracelets.
And like we said, in the comic books, it's not bracelets, it's rings.
Yeah. Quickly, as we get back to the Black Widow, if you do not know what the rings do, he has one called the Remaker, which can manipulate the atomic and molecular structures of matter, like can create poison gas.
So are these like fake-ass Infinity Stones then?
Kind of, yes.
Kinda are.
Yes. It can change your costume or alter your appearance. The next one is the Influence. That does a force blast or a sonic beam. Following that is the one called Spin, which creates a vortex, a wind that you can utilize. Spectral, after that, allows the Mandarin to project a beam of energy capable of destroying the bonds between atomic and molecules. So it pretty much can disintegrate an inanimate object. They said apparently the ring must recharge for 20 minutes after each use.
This sounds like some D&D shit.
Nightbringer allows the Mandarin to create an area of darkness. There's Demonic, allows to generate and manipulate various forms of electromagnet energy. The Incandescence,
Jamie Foxx is fucked,
which is kind of a flamethrower ring. The Liar,
Rick and Morty,
which
is Planet Tina gonna pop up?
Yeah, no, can mentally paralyze someone or create mental illusions. There's the Lightning Ring, which I don't know if you guys can guess what that does, and then Zero, which is an ice blast for the Mandarin. So it's a lot of.
Earth.
When they were making this guy, they were just like, "Hey, what's that shit they use in D&D? Oh yeah, let's fucking
I think
let's put it in rings."
Because I don't think, like I said, MCU, they just kind of were just like, what can we use? Who can be the bad guy for the Shang-Chi movie? And they were like, we got the Mandarin. But it doesn't make sense because if you watch that Shang-Chi trailer, there's nothing about those rings that show that he's using elements of any sort. So you see this character who was supposed to be a certain way and do certain things, and they're just like, nah, we'll scrap it. And this goes back to what I was said. MCU is not the comic books. You need to realize that.
Yep. It is a different...
And to wrap all this stuff up, what we're talking about is just like they could have had something really cool with Iron Man, but I guess because they thought they felt they could do something bigger with Iron Man, that they were like, this villain will be used somewhere else. Because the MCU does that. They were like, we forgot about this. Because look at fucking the bad guy in Iron Man 2.
Now, here's another question we could be doing, Joshua, is could he be, because we're showing the battle with his dad, could that be in the mid towards getting into the third act so that he can get those rings to battle Fing Fang Foom? Because that is...
Fing Fang Foom, that's an actual character?
Yeah, the dragon. Isn't that what his name is?
Isn't that the dragon with Danny Rand?
I was getting ready to say Iron Fist.
They're connected, though. Those two are connected.
Yeah, I think there is talks that Fing Fang Foom is going to be in this movie. There's
What?
I mean, you see a dragon in the water.
I really do hate the fact that they won't just. They've got this.
or
whole
they're setting
extra
up
bit
that
could-
character to be in the next Shang-Chi movie.
They got this whole thing that they could just bring into the universe, and people would enjoy it because they did enjoy those shows. That's why they did so well.
All right,
Because that was the one thing we bitched about when we saw Iron Fist. We were like, are we going to see the dragon?
no, we're not going to see the dragon.
It's full moon tonight, boys.
It is. There's a lot of ass.
Double
going
full
around.
moon.
Let's keep going with the Black Widow. So they get a helicopter to break out their dad.
Who is the fucking second MVP of the movie?
Hold on, you skipped something again.
There's really nothing to skip because her and Natasha.
we talked about them, and then
They meet each other.
No,
and
no,
It seems like
they get attacked in the apartment. They try to run away. They kill that, or they go to knock that girl, and she hits the ground. And Natasha's like, "No, I'll save you." And then when she runs up to her, she fucking kills herself, which shows that they're under control. Because the girl goes, "I don't want to do this,"
No.
and then
But the thing is that we kind of established that they were under control with.
right. That's what I'm saying.
So
Like,
I thought she was doing this to take herself out as like a good agent, but she had no control.
no, that's what he was saying. Was
Yeah.
like he was controlling that fist.
Yes.
Very much.
But yes, we saw that. So then they're breaking him out because they find out he's still alive.
And they wanna
that
know
was
whether-
her big thing, is what she did in Budapest, what they talked about in Avengers, I think it was. Like what we did.
Yeah,
in
well, yeah,
Budapest.
she tried to murder the guy that she found, and he was still alive.
and in essence had to murder his daughter to get to him.
Is it
because that would-
Gorbachev or what was the fuck his
Dreykov.
name? Dreykov. That's what it was. Yeah.
And so, and she's been struggling with having to murder a kid, which I don't like. If you're an agent, like that kind of assassin, like it shouldn't really bother you, right? Like you murder so many people.
They never talk about how he got out of that building.
It doesn't mean he was
Dreykov.
there.
No, they show him there. They show his daughter walk in, and he's sitting at the desk, and then
then
she
it goes
walks
to
over to the
boom.
window, and then Natasha's like, "Yeah, blow it."
Which at this point we kind of figure out where the story was going.
Right, but it was like, why didn't? I don't know. They just didn't explain how he got out of there. But yeah, they're trying to figure out where the Red Room is, so she gets in the helicopter to go break out her dad.
And after breaking out their dad,
Which was a really long fucking scene, all for the setup of that would be a cool way to die.
Kinda.
Like, all of that whole last part was just all so they could have a fucking avalanche coming. That was so much build up for one line.
everybody in that prison died.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Not really.
they're buried.
We don't know.
No, they're
They're
buried.
buried.
They're buried. They're not gonna. What's the point of going and getting them out? Like, oh, all those people are dead. That's fine.
No, because
it's Russia.
prisoner rights.
In Russia, ICE kills you.
Prisoners don't have rights in Russia.
Yeah, they don't care.
No, they do.
So
Unless
they
they go against
and then to
Putin.
get the whole group together, they head to find their mom, who's been doing, again, showing how she's doing, been working with them and creating control. And this very disturbing scene with the pig, making him stop breathing.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I was just like, what?
But can we say that, like, the chemistry between the dad and the mom, they did really good with that.
Good actors.
Yeah, and then she was just like, oh, I've been here. And
Yeah, but I give it
I've
more-
been stuck in here for a very long time. And Natasha and Yolanda are both like, no. And it was just at that point, Brandy goes, this movie is a comedy as well as being a very serious movie.
Well, especially when they're making a
we
joke about a
forgot to talk
hysterectomy.
about the funny...
Oh yeah, they did do that, and I kind of was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, they're making.
That's
a
the
joke
second
of a-
time they did that in the Marvel
The-
Cinematic
yeah.
Universe.
The scene where Yolanda
Ultron,
talks to
too.
Natasha, and she's like, "Why do you do that thing?" She's like, "What thing?" And she's like, the thing where you stick your leg out and you put the thing down." And then later on, she doesn't. She's like, "Oh, that was gross."
Mind you, she does that in Marvel Strike Force, by the way. Yelena.
She does the little thing.
She does the little
Well,
thing. It's called Das Vidanya, and she does that move.
That's funny.
So yeah, that is funny.
It's for fighting. No, it's not. It's for posing.
That is for posing.
And then she does it. Like,
And it's
but
like-
yeah,
he
it
keeps calling
very
her a
much reminded me of
poser.
that Deadpool moment where he's like, they're going to do the superhero landing.
Superhero landing, yeah.
Here it comes! It's horrible on the knees.
Maximum effort.
It's a Deadpool reference if you don't know Deadpool. But speaking of Deadpool, did you all see that him and Korg? So they're kind of saying that's the introduction into the MCU.
Check your email.
Doing their doing a
Side note.
doing the Free Guy trailer
Here's
reaction
the thing.
video.
If they've got everything now because they you all seen the Fantastic Four spoiler thing in or Easter egg that was in Loki. And if they are
there
showing
was a Fantastic Four Easter egg?
Yeah, at the very end through the credits, when they have one of their lockers open, it actually has a Fantastic Four symbol on it.
I didn't see that because I waited till
look it up real quick. Yeah,
Doc is shaking his head.
look it
I
up.
didn't see it.
Oh my god,
I didn't see that.
At the end of Loki?
No,
believe me on shit
I
ever.
know. I literally waited, and the only after credit scene
No, it's not an after credit scene. When they're rolling the credits, you know they show all the different scenes in Loki.
yeah.
One of the scenes is of a locker, and it has a Fantastic Four symbol on it.
I did not see that, bro.
Look it up on your phone. You got your phone right now.
Well, Doc is researching it.
I'm doing the research right now.
But anyways, so that we've got that. If they are confirming that Deadpool's going to be in the universe, then that means they've also confirmed that X-Men are there.
I mean,
Because X-Men was in, and technically it was Days of Future Past in Deadpool.
I mean, really,
So-
WandaVision kind of.
no,
Why?
I
Because
read,
Wanda's
no,
existence?
because
No,
he was
no,
the
kind of-
actor.
Yeah, it was the
pretending
actor,
to-
but
yeah.
the fact that it was.
And they kind of made sure they
To
kind
say
of
that.
to make sure she wasn't a mutant because they were like, "You got your powers through this way and through the stone." Even though I thought they were going to establish mutants, and they didn't. But even though
I still think that the flashback scene where they were under the bed showed that she had powers before the stone, because they kind of flash it out, but if you watch real closely, it looks like she kind of stops the debris from hitting them.
I don't think so.
I watch it again, man. It's very quick, but I think that's the whole point of that flashback, is to show that she stops that debris from killing them.
Yeah. Well, I disagree, but we'll see. Because they made it adamant that woman and her brother got her powers from an Infinity Stone. Because that one scene where they were testing the Infinity Stone on her.
We get how her power came from the Mind Stone, but how would his power come from the Mind Stone?
Because they did experiments on them. See, that was a fuck up that they did on the show. They were supposed to show the brother getting treated by the stone. Because when she gets touched by the stone, you see the Scarlet Witch coming to her when she's getting experimented on. And they don't fucking... I was like, oh, they're going to show the brother. They got to show the brother. They didn't do that.
Nope.
Yeah, they didn't.
But I agree that they kind of fucked up, but also in the comic books, they're not mutants. They got their powers from the High Evolutionary.
No, they changed it. Yeah,
They changed
They
it.
changed
So
that because of the.
they're
movies.
not really mutants, though.
No.
Because Marvel was like, you need to change this up. Because they're assholes.
I don't.
Who
see,
is
I
not
don't
an Omega
see
level mutant that
a-
you think is an Omega?
Okay, Doc. Quick side note.
What?
Who is an Omega level mutant?
Not an Omega.
Who's not a level?
Omega level mutant?
There you go. Because I'm
Who is not?
Who is
Who-
not? We're gonna give you some choices,
Okay.
right?
Do you remember what the choices were?
I remember.
Because
Okay.
Yeah.
You got Iceman. You
Jean
got
Grey.
X-Man. You got Jean Grey. You got Professor X. Who was the other one?
Iceman. Yeah. I don't remember. That's enough choices.
That's a good note choice. So who out of those? So we gave you Iceman, X-Man, Jean Grey, Professor X.
There was more to the
There was
list.
more. I
I
think
can't-
Marcus Mallory.
Yeah,
but he
that
doesn't-
was one,
But
yeah.
he doesn't know who the fuck that is. So out of those four, who do you think is not an Omega level mutant?
You cannot tell me Iceman is an Omega mutant.
Are you going with Iceman?
I am, because what else is he can do?
He is Omega level mutant.
How?
He can control elements.
He controls that one element to the point where he can freeze the whole world, which he's done.
Okay.
So do you want to know who is not Omega level mutant out of those four?
Who is it? Charles?
Yes.
It is Charles.
God. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, so he's not as powerful as it makes it seem. He has to use that machine to actually do anything crazy.
I mean, that's true, because Jean is more powerful than him, and so is
Technically, Maxwell Lord in DC is the strongest telepath because he can control people like half the world or some shit like that.
Okay, but
I don't think Professor X can do that.
but Jean Grey is
no.
dark.
We're just compared to Professor X.
Okay, I was like,
Professor X. You're right. You say he needs a machine to do something.
he only got where he got because of Magneto.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Let's. We got way off subject.
Did you find the Fantastic Four thing?
Yeah, I can't find it. I mean, it's understandable
It's
that there could
Oh,
be something.
My phone's
because
recording right now. I'll show you the thing.
the big bad of Kang is a Fantastic Four. villain. And that's where a lot
He was in
of
Avengers.
people were confused with the talk of bringing him into Ant-Man.
Which is a fucking...
No, did you see the thing where, like, when Ant-Man was shrinking down, there was
No,
a city
yeah.
on the horizon?
No, it's not that. It's just...
That's definitely not that.
No, they think the city was the TVA.
No. It's I think that's where the Eternals may have been hiding, or they say the Black Knight may be
No,
hiding
they said
there.
the Eternals are hiding on Earth.
No, I just
There's,
think-
I mean, that's still on
there's
Earth.
no-
It's still just.
You
in
said
the,
he was a Fantastic Four villain. I always felt that
Yeah.
he was an Avengers villain.
No, I think he's a Fantastic Four villain.
Okay, when I was reading comics, the indication was he was an Avengers villain. But the fact that, like I said in my tweet that Doc fucking responded to, this guy is in the comics a badass. He's a legit fucking killer, and they kind of represented him as.
He's such a badass killer that when the kid version of himself found out what the old version of himself did,
Yeah.
went to the future to kill the old version.
Yes.
Umbrella Academy?
No, Young Avengers.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's what...
They're like, I am not going to be this
he was
type of person.
Iron Lad.
That's what 12 did.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking trivia.
Was it
question.
12, Doc? No.
that?
Was it 1?
What?
The fucking time-skipping kid from Umbrella Academy.
4.
Oh, it
4.
was 4.
4, yeah. We have gotten so off fucking topic.
Well, that's the beauty of this podcast.
Yeah, I know.
First appearance was in as Ramtut, and the Fantastic Four as Kang was the Avengers. But also, I think he's related to Reed? Yeah, he's the possible descendant of Reed Richards.
Possible.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any concrete evidence, though.
Then usually him and Doom are kind of really connected. All right, continuing on. So they go find the mom. They go find the dad. And they're going to the Red Room. And they said the reason they have never found the Red Room is because it's flying up in the sky.
So stupid.
Yeah, the mom betrayed him. Like,
No, because the mom didn't betray them.
she did. She said, I hit the button already.
Yeah, because that was the plan later on in the movie.
Well, no, so when I was watching that, she said she had already hit the button.
Yes.
Because she was reporting that they were there.
Yes.
But the conversation at the dinner table changed her mind, and that's why what happens next happens.
Okay, but she still didn't betray them because originally the plan was to do the oopty-doop because you wanted Natasha.
That wasn't the original plan. That was the plan after they had talked.
Because the main plan was to get Natasha in the room as the leader.
Yes, that was the original plan.
Doc,
After
you saw the movie too, what are you saying?
I felt like when Yelena and Red Guardian went to go talk, they were talking about what they needed to do. Because again, I feel like their mom, it was a power play. You're removing this guy because she was the one, in essence, creating the mind control. So why would she not want him eliminated, utilizing...
the widow's the way she wanted to?
Exactly.
Being a widow herself. How many? She said she went to the Red Room 4 fucking times.
Okay. Did she get sterilized 4 times?
Yeah, I was
They
wondering
always
like,
check that out. They put it back in, and then they just
fucking
check
That
it
was
right
put it
out.
back in, take it back out.
And I want people to know, it was the most weirdest moment when she tells in Age of Ultron, she's like, I can't have kids anyway. And they showed that. They showed her like getting operated on. I'm like, what the fuck was the purpose of this?
To make you feel
Just-
for her.
But their love story was just added for no reason. Like, honest to God, you don't need to put that
Oh, the
fucking
one
love
with the
story
Hulk?
in there. Yes,
That
right
was
or wrong.
weird. That was weird.
That was weird. Like,
It
I
was.
remember sitting there watching it, and Elrock was like, "No, I think so." And then Elrock rewatched it and was like, "Yeah, you were right. They didn't need to put that in there. They had no business in there."
I still appreciated it. Like, it made
I mean-
sense. She thought of herself as a monster. He thought he was a monster that couldn't be loved
How did she think she was a monster? Because she couldn't have kids?
All right,
because
we
she
gotta
couldn't keep
moving
herself.
What are you saying?
on. We got to keep moving on.
We're
No, we don't.
literally
We're
talking about Black Widow.
We're talking about Black Widow.
Okay.
But anyway, so she...
So hold on. She's saying she thought she was a monster because she couldn't have kids.
But just she didn't say it because of that. She thought she was a monster because of the atrocities that she had committed in the name of the country, and then she defected, and she was trying to clear her ledger. She says that she was trying to clear her
Yep.
ledger, but she still felt like she was a monster. So she associated herself with the Hulk, who thought he was a monster that could never be loved either. And he was like, "I can't have a future with you. We can't have kids." And she's like, "It don't matter anyways. I can't have kids."
And
So
that,
that
in,
was-
in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to them battling a fucking AI that possesses a fucking... what the fuck does that have to do?
It didn't have anything to do with it. Didn't have anything to do with Ultron. But are you in the story for the story, or are you in the story waiting for the next battle?
No, I'm in this story to know what's going to happen to the good and the bad. So my thing is though, and you can just say whatever you need to say, and I agree. I'm not gonna disparage you. I just think that was an added portion of the movie that didn't need to be in the movie.
The whole thing was to build the characters. Going back to or what's his fucking name?
Can I ask you a question though? Given what they told us in Age of Ultron, do you think they kind of did anything with it after that?
Not up until this movie, because when they're sitting in the plane, they explain it to their dad that they take the thing out.
Why establish that relationship with her and the Hulk then? Because in Endgame, it was just like Natasha.
No. In Infinity War, he comes back.
Endgame or in Infinity War. But like I said,
you can see the spark as soon as he sees her.
Okay,
and she's like,
but they did nothing with it. There was no romantic moment. It was actually with fucking Hawkeye
because he felt like it moved. They both felt like it moved.
Nope, it didn't move because he was like.
You think about it. She was more of controlling, like she's learned to control.
He was gone for so long that what they had built up ended.
And I'm trying to tell you is, you make that point in Age of Ultron. Then you see he leaves when he's like, I'm going to go off. He doesn't come back to Ragnarok. Then he sees her in Endgame or
Infinity War.
No, they see in Infinity
They
War.
do nothing with that.
They did nothing with it. So there was no point in establishing. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? There was no moment where she's like, Bruce, I love you.
Yep.
There was nothing.
It was just like, hey, what's up?
I think the moment at
he was actually fucking.
What's Hawkeye's name? What's Hawkeye's name?
Clint.
When they're at Clint's house, I think that was her saying, "I love you," and then at the end of Age of Ultron, he's gone. He takes off. He's like, you know what? I do love her, but I can't do this.
Okay, you just said fine.
So they come back.
They come back, and there's nothing of it. It's more of a love story between her and Clint.
They have that. No, I don't see it that way at all. Clint is like her brother.
Doc.
No,
chime in, please.
Clint is definitely more of a brother.
I think. Well, maybe more of a brother. I think they have respect for what they do, and they both are on the outs.
I understand that, but it alienates that relationship they established in Age of Ultron, because you just said it yourself. They did nothing with it. They see each other, and it's just like whatever.
It wasn't whatever. Watch that scene again, dude. It's so.
I feel like it was just the Russo said. This doesn't make any sense.
It was a very powerful moment when he sees her, because you're like, okay, they had this relationship thing going. What's going to happen when he sees her for the first time?
Not Infinity War.
He sees her in Infinity War because he drops down into the building with Doctor Strange, and then they meet up at the Avengers.
And he's like, "Hey, yes,
but that's an Infinity War.
That's an Infinity War. But Endgame, they're like two different. Like, they're just like whatever. He's Professor Hulk.
So right, yeah, okay. So you see the moment where he sees her for the first time, and you can see like the look in her face when she sees him. I think that it was a better thing that they didn't move on with that relationship, because that's copy pasta, dude. That's the same shit that every fucking movie does. Let's build this relationship.
So why establish it in Age of Ultron?
To make you realize that human life is, or that life is not what you expect.
All right,
I disagree.
So we just need to stop, because that's nowhere relation to the movie.
No, but we're just talking about the character in the movie.
Yes.
So I think I just have to disagree with you. They established this relationship in fucking Age of Ultron. It didn't go anywhere. They didn't even have any moments in Endgame.
Right. They didn't. But so 5 years had passed.
But regardless though, this is a man that she wanted to be with, right or wrong? Am I wrong here?
She'd wanted to be with him years ago. Things had changed. People had changed. He had changed.
Why fucking establish that? Or why not give us a reason to say where she goes, I'm sorry, Bruce. I thought me and you can have something, but I realized we couldn't. They didn't even give us that. I don't know.
Maybe after Age of Ultron there was two.
You want to say, Clint and her were like brother and sister, which I'm not disagreeing, but it seemed more that was more important, because she's like, I got to find Clint. I got to do this. I got to do that. Meanwhile, back at the fucking Hall of Justice, she didn't give two shits about fucking Bruce.
Nope.
All right.
5 years had passed before Endgame.
I don't care, because the way in Age of Ultron, and I'm sorry, the Age of Ultron, she's like, hey, big guy, the sun's getting low. I want to be with you. I can't have kids, but I still love you, blah, blah, blah. And then you mean to tell me in the next movie she's like, I don't really give a fuck about this green fuck.
Let's move on, because I don't think your emotions go deep enough to understand what's going on there. I really don't.
All right, so they get up to the Red Room.
The sky.
It's in the sky. She is undercover as her mom, as we find out. And then we find out that she cannot murder Dreykov because she's got an implant, apparently, in her fucking brain that has to be severed. Because if she smells him, then she can't kill him. Which, I mean, I don't know why you just wouldn't try to shoot him as soon as you walked in the door or step it away.
Breathe when you're around him.
Exactly. Well, they said you can't even hold your breath long enough to. It made no fucking sense.
Well, here's the thing: your pheromone receptors are in your nose. You don't have to breathe for them to react. You have nerves all inside of here that can react to all of that stuff.
Even without smelling?
Even without, yeah.
Okay.
She would have to literally be like this. Like, it would have to be...
Okay.
And if she'd have walked in doing that, he would have known something was up. From the start.
I don't know. This is where the movie gets wonky for me.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of assassins out there for the Red Room, a lot more than they were expecting. And he sends in a bunch of them to come in and fuck her up. And luckily they didn't do the let's fight one at a time bullshit. They actually were grouping up on her.
How did this guy avoid Hydra? They address it a little bit in the system. They even actually say, well, I was working for S.H.I.E.L.D., but it was actually Hydra at the time. But how did he avoid anything with Hydra?
What do you mean avoid anything with Hydra?
Like, Hydra could have easily like worked with him to establish this network of people that he had going and further their plans.
Why poke the bear?
I don't know. Because
if you think about it, right?
He says he controls everybody on Earth. So
he wasn't controlling anybody on Earth. But if you think about it, though, right? From when MCU started, right? All the stuff that was going on, it's reminiscent of the Winter Soldier, where the guy for Hydra was like, "Oh, we know everybody," and Stephen Strange and da da da. Why would you want to make yourself known when your reach is that far? So if you can fly under the radar, why not fly under the radar?
And that's what he was doing.
He was doing that.
yeah,
He could control things without anybody knowing
Yes.
that he was controlling.
Because
Right.
if you think of it in the grand scope of things, this guy is controlling these world-class assassins, the cell of super assassins. But we don't know anything about it.
It's kind of like the Illuminati.
There you go.
Yeah.
So in essence, he's just like, well, if I do something where I take the... Because remember, if you watch The Winter Soldier, right? He's like, oh, they can like take down a nation. This cell of like super soldiers, right?
yeah.
What if him can take down something and they probably think, oh, it was something like with the Winter Soldier. They don't know who did it. So if he could fly under the radar, that's even better.
Right.
So I don't think like Hydra was trying to fucking like get him and like bring him under their wing, because maybe Hydra didn't know anything about him.
Maybe.
There you go.
So the big reveal also is that Taskmaster is his daughter who did not die.
I mean, you kind of
and put a chip into her so that...
with her fucking mangled face.
Yeah, the interesting part is because they never revealed until like you watch the movie.
And I have to stress something. I'm sorry to cut you off. Someone told me this years before the movie came out. They was like, Chief, look at her. Look at the chest plate. Look how far it's poking out. Taskmaster ain't who you think it is.
Well, the same thing is when the Taskmaster shows up at the beginning of the movie. Stacy's like, "That's a woman." I was like, "It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a guy." She's like, "No, that's."
So what made Stacy think it was a woman?
Her frame and everything.
Her frame? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've actually had this thing about Marvel, the way they do these CGI in suits. If you watch Iron Man, War Machine, and now Taskmaster,
Oh yeah.
But that was not a CGI suit.
No, there's a
she is
scene where it's
CG.
revealed. So it's a man's body.
Yeah, but
and
she's-
she takes the mask off, and you see this little tiny head, like
Yeah,
like
it's-
the Hulk in the Hulk, like
No, I'm
Banner
saying-
in the Hulk Buster.
That's-
It's what it looked like.
When
That's exactly what I was going
that
to say. Was that-
CGI is when she like does that like that Decepticon bullshit, that Transformer shit.
Right, but
But the holes, you can tell that's proportion. Because like my friend said, he's like, look at the chest plate.
No,
There's
You're-
a scene
hold on.
where it's a side profile of her, and her head is tiny.
And I'm not arguing you're right, but what I'm saying is there's always a scene in every movie with these machines where they've put their head too far back in it. So if you were to actually like put it out, their back would be out of the back of the machine. It doesn't make it very much looks like they're fucking piloting
no, they
mechs.
messed it up. There is
Yeah.
a scene
All
with
right,
that.
I mean, I didn't see that, so I'll
Yeah,
probably watch the
and
movie again.
they've done it with War Machine and Iron Man too. They literally they put them too far back in the
Are you
thing.
talking about the scene where she reveals herself and it just looks like this? Doesn't look like.
It's a side shot of her, and her head is tiny compared to the rest of the body.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I think it's in the office. Yeah, and
It's in the office.
That's towards the end, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
where we're
and
at
if
right
you
now.
look, her neck is like so far
Yeah.
back on the machine that her natural back would be sticking out of the back of the machine.
Okay.
And
Okay. Well, I'll have to look at it again.
And with everything that was going on, I felt like that was the worst idea of how to use a character. Like, there could have been other characters you could have created to put her in. That's fine. But wasting Taskmaster, I felt was just a big.
Well, as
we don't know if
Kennedy-
it's Taskmaster.
Yeah, Kennedy pointed out something that the internet pointed out is you never get to hear her be called Taskmaster.
No, yeah, it's the project.
It's the protocol.
But it's the same thing as Black Widows. They're all Black Widows.
I understand
Yeah.
that though, but for them to call it the Taskmaster protocol, there's a slight chance he is doing what he's originally supposed to do, which is train people.
That's what I was going to say. What if you said it's the visor? What if it's the Taskmaster protocol because they based it off of the actual
No,
Taskmaster?
I'm saying, what if like he was the one that's like, this is the program I'm giving you because you hired me to help you.
And then he uses it on his daughter.
Yeah, he uses it on the daughter, and
That's
he
what,
helps them
that's what
train
I was
her.
saying. They call it the Taskmaster protocol because he gave it to them.
Because they never call her a Taskmaster.
No,
they
they
say
never
initiate the Taskmaster protocol. So there's a slight chance
We're
they could
fucking
do
going
that.
Boba Fett with it, and it's
Yeah.
just
No, because if you look at it though, right? Because throughout the movie, I got this from a meme. She does Black Panther. She does Hawkeye. I believe she does Spider-Man. The Winter Soldier she does as well, and Captain America.
Yeah.
So there's a slight chance, but then again, like I said, MCU kind of does their own thing. We'll see. So because Taskmaster could be a great fucking villain in Miss Marvel, or Hawkeye, or anything to do with Hydra.
Yeah.
the problem with the
Secret
with
Invasion?
the way they set up Hawkeye now, though. You can already call it from a mile away that it's going to be they fight each other for a little bit, and then she figures out that he's actually not a bad guy.
I'm waiting for this part to come up, so
Yeah.
we'll get to it.
I don't know which part. Or it's
The
getting
very
late.
end,
So
after
let's
credits scene.
let's move.
No, this is a good episode.
So
before
we
it's 300.
I know it's going for it's a lot longer. It's getting late, and there's stuff to do tonight.
What stuff to do? We're gonna drink and play video games.
It's 9 o'clock.
And games. It's 9:00, but it's 10:00 Eastern.
Yes. So as then they blow up.
We don't have this much conversation usually.
They blow up the Red Room. Apparently, everybody that's non-bad guy.
How the
lives
hell
through
did
this
they blow
thing.
up the Red Room? She's just like, I'm going to disable this one thing. And it was like, oh, no, that's accidentally the entire fucking ship.
A lot of people are theorizing that she did that
CGI.
because it clears her name. Because she said, oh, I'm going to land it so that Ross can get it. But she really destroyed it so that they would never know that she was behind the mind control and everything.
Well, not to mention, Ross
And
and
then-
them, they would try to put everything under their
And then
control.
fucking the main bad guy just dies in that weird fucking like non-good bad guy way, right?
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's just like, oh, boom! Like, come on! Like you die
either
for nothing.
it was ridiculous or he's not dead.
He's done.
He's done. His glasses fell
When you
off.
get engulfed by fire, you're done.
Yeah.
He should have been engulfed by fire in that fucking building.
I know, but he was on the plane. It was weird. I kind of was like, "What the fuck just happened right now?" But
But
anyway.
again,
He
they
somehow had a
it,
suit
it
of
might
armor
have
in
not
there
been
that he put
him.
on at the last
It
second.
might have not been him in the office. He maybe knew that there was going to assassination attempt.
No,
and he
because
had a
they-
double,
The
or
fair-
they had that
no,
mask on.
because
The
I think
pheromones.
they should have like actually had a fucking end credit scene where it's like, oh, they thought I was dead, but it wasn't me. Like they could have did that, but they didn't. So he's
Is
dead.
there any characters that are in the comic books that come back and have like half burned fucking body and shit, kind of like Two-Face in DC?
I mean, Marvel.
Marvel.
No, I'm saying Two-Face is in DC. Do they have anything like that in Marvel where this guy could come back as that?
Not really.
No, okay.
Because once they kill you, I mean, not to say that you can't come back in the comic books, but in the MCU, once you're dead,
They're all about bringing
They
people
did.
back because at the very beginning of fucking Civil War, they brought back what's his name, who supposedly died
Bucky?
in the fall of Hydra.
Who?
He's at the guy that fucking blows up and Wanda blows him into the building. That guy.
Oh, he's
You're talking about fucking
because he was fighting with Captain America. He was like, I fucking hate you.
Guy,
the guy that was in the elevator with him, and he's like, da-da-da-da, and then they attack him.
Oh, you're talking about Crossbones.
Crossbones, yeah.
Yeah, so they bring him back.
No, because they show him at the end of fucking, what was it?
No,
Civil War.
I'm just establishing that they like to bring people back.
No, they do, but they gave us a what if. They show him being brought into the hospital with the cross on his chest. So you know that, he's going to come back. He's not dead. But then they got rid of him like in the first 10 minutes.
Right,
Yeah,
they fucking killed him off.
Yeah, even though he's like one of Captain America's most notorious villains. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everyone that was a redeeming bad guy or one of the good guys somehow make it off and land without dying.
Yeah.
They all should have died.
Yep.
There's no way most of them would have gotten off that falling structure.
Uh-huh.
And
let's talk about fucking Yelena. I'm going to sacrifice myself, and that bad CGI, and you can see the fucking wire.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the fuck was that?
I don't know. Like, yeah, it was not good.
It was not.
They were fucking making the movie, and just like Doc, they're just like, shit, we got to wrap this shit up.
Like, again,
Who's been on
how does
the
that
ice
explosion
punch?
occur and you just like go, wee?
Yeah, she just like,
Yes.
But mind you, the other bad guy gets engulfed in flames.
Yep.
Make it make sense.
Nope. She just gets kind of pushed
I'm just
off.
waiting for this other part that I've been holding for the whole fucking show.
So as we finish it up, and then Natasha says that she needs to go.
No, you forgot the big fight, the big finale with the fight between her and Taskmaster.
I mean, it's not really a big fight. It's just
That's how much that.
I'm gonna squirt you. No, you're not. I'm gonna squirt you. No, I'm not.
yeah, it's pretty much just the fucking flip, and then hey, I'm a good person now. It's like again, it's like this is stupid.
Oh my god.
Actually, I think that's another side profile.
Girls get
thing
it
where she
done.
looks like she's fucking weird in the
Boys
thing.
reference. TV show, not the comic book.
So she gets sprayed, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm a good person too," and she forgives for I guess Natasha for nearly killing her, and moves on, and they all take off, and then we get our post-credit scene, which
you're
with
gonna punch me.
Contessa showing up as we see Yelena at the grave of Natasha after Endgame,
Yes.
and
They kept burying, like, they were like, oh, you're going to hear the whistle. Nope, didn't hear the whistle. Oh, you hear the leaves crunching. Oh, it's not who you thought it was. They just kept, like, making it like Natasha was going to come back.
Fuck
and then,
all that. I'm trying to figure out.
Really, you thought Natasha was coming back?
No.
The way they kept hiding
No.
what the noises were and all that. Yeah.
But fuck all that. Can someone explain to me how this woman, what was her name again, Doc? Contessa, knew what the fuck happened in the events of Endgame?
Well, it's the same as Darcy in WandaVision. She knew everything that had happened in Endgame and everything else. And
She was a witch.
No, Darcy.
Who was Darcy?
Darcy is the girl from Two Broke Girls.
Okay, but she was like, she could have been told stuff.
Yeah, apparently Thor was telling her everything.
Okay, so Thor was telling her
she
everything.
knew a lot of fucking information.
So how the fuck can you honestly tell me that this woman knew the events that happened on, what was that planet or whatever the fuck it was, Vormir?
Vormir,
Yeah.
Vormir. How the fuck did she know that was the because she was like, this is the person who was responsible for your sister's death. How the fuck did she know? Could someone tell me how she knows?
Because the only way she would know is Clint
would have had to talk to
say
somebody.
like he was the reason she died.
Okay, but Clint comes back from Vormir, right?
Yeah.
He tells the rest of her Avengers. One of them, one's dead. The other one's old. So that means Thor, Hulk. No, I'm sorry. Two are dead. One is old. Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man,
Falcon.
Falcon. None of these people are gonna. They don't even know who the fuck this bitch is.
No.
How the fuck does she know?
I don't know.
Can someone explain
No,
this to me?
Marvel's never been good about it. What's really funny is when they're like, the security cam footage caught it. And the security cam footage is literally the camera that they used for the video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But she's like,
Marvel's
this is the
bad
person
about this.
that's responsible for your sister's death. I'm like, how the fuck did you know? That
They
was
don't.
on another planet. It was a cataclysmic fucking event. Explain to me how you...
Maybe they will explain it in Hawkeye.
I doubt it. I fucking doubt it. Doc, please tell me you're with me when you doubt it.
I don't think so. Like, why would Clint even talk about anything like that?
That's what I'm saying.
What kills me about this thing though is the ending before the credits when she's like, "Oh, I have family again." Da da da. It really did mean stuff to me. Da da da. But then they're on Vormir in Endgame, and she's just like, "Yeah, I got nothing to live for. Bye." Like,
This is why I make fun of
Again,
Marvel.
they all might have got dusted away.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Because she would have, like I said, this is where I go back to, she would have mentioned it. She's like, I don't have anybody. Because she made no reference to her family. This is the argument I have with this movie. It's like, okay, it happened after Civil War, right? The events of Civil War. She's on the run. So you mean to tell me throughout the process of Civil War, in between Civil War and Infinity War, this woman was combating her past, but makes no reference of it. This is where they fail.
They explained where she got the Quinjet, though, that her and Captain America were on.
I understand
And
that.
they explain where she got her vest from, too.
Yeah. They just don't go into deals. Like, you don't know because when they introduced them in Endgame, it's like they're just like
Infinity War.
Infinity War, I'm sorry. Infinity War is like, oh, her, Falcon, and fucking Captain America were just chilling.
Yeah.
Again, why wouldn't they not? Why? Maybe she did lose them. They all got dusted.
But this happened
Technically
after.
possible,
This
but-
happens before Infinity War.
No,
he-
at the
he's
post
saying
credit
the reason she
is
jumped off
after Endgame.
Okay, but I'm talking about the instances that happen in the movie before she dies.
Yeah,
So
they already dusted
there's-
everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So
No, they didn't dust anybody because this happens
the end
before
of the movie.
Thanos.
The end of the movie is pre-snap. The end credit scene is post-snap.
Yes.
Yes.
But so what he's trying to say is that when Vormir happened, technically the snap had happened. So maybe when she got to Vormir, her family had been snapped back then.
That's what I'm saying. She makes no.
She doesn't make a reference to it,
She
but it
doesn't make
definitely-
reference to it.
It could have happened.
No, but she was saying she
In
didn't
order-
have anything.
You say that. I don't have anything. I don't
Yeah.
have. So, but if we don't have this Black Widow movie, we would have thought she didn't have anything from the get go, right?
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She makes no reference to like, oh, what I've lost. When you watch Infinity War
For what I need to know what.
Yeah,
reference
before
you're
Endgame, right?
Yeah,
Infinity
Infinity
War.
War.
You think after Civil War she's on the run with Captain America and Falcon?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you wanted to make this movie make sense, you could have had an end scene where fucking Captain America and Falcon go, Natasha, we found you. They don't even do that.
I will say that the end credit scenes were lacking. There should have been more. There should have been one like mid credit and then one post credit. And
You could have literally ended this movie where she's just like standing there and they go, oh, Rogers and fucking Sam are behind her and go, Natasha, we need you. And you would be like, okay, this makes sense.
yeah, she got the Quinjet. Now
Yeah.
she met up with
Yeah.
them.
No, she was going to go rescue them.
Yeah, she did say that. She said she was going to the prison rescue. But
How? He broke them out.
Well, he says he's going to break them out. So maybe he.
No, motherfucker, they show him going into the fucking thing.
Right, but maybe she met up with him with the Quinjet and brought
No,
him there. How
I'm
would he
saying-
have gotten out there without a Quinjet?
I don't know.
He wouldn't have. So they show her getting the Quinjet. She meets up with Captain America. She takes him out and drops him off at the prison. And that's where they break everybody
I
up.
don't know, but all I know is at the end of fucking Civil War, he's walking to Sam in the cell.
So this all happens at the end of Civil War.
Yes.
Between the part where Captain America says, I got to go take care of something,
Yes.
and that scene.
Yes.
All of this happens between that.
But they make no attempt to show how she ends up with Captain America and
Yeah,
Sam
they didn't.
at Infinity War.
They didn't.
Infinity War.
Nope.
All right. We got to go. We're
No, we don't need to go, but
We're
if you
gonna
want to
wrap
wrap
it
this up,
Yeah.
Chief.
We were wrapping it up.
So-
So I mean, that's Black Widow.
Okay.
There's problems. It's not perfect, but no Marvel movie is.
Far from part.
I don't know. Do you feel like it's like the worst one they've made?
No.
I won't say it's the worst one because the fight scenes were really good. It wasn't bad. I wouldn't say it's one of the best though.
I like
think
the- I like
mediocre.
the family
I think
dynamics.
It's a Passover event between, like, the show that we ended Loki and the beginning of Hawkeye to give us something to watch.
I feel like Florence Pugh was the shining star.
She
of
was
the
the
whole thing.
MVP of the movie
Yeah,
with her Russian accent.
she carried
Also,
she carried that movie.
Now that this is over and said and done with, how the fuck does this woman's whole family have Russian accents except her? Somebody explain that to me?
Natasha?
Yes.
She has a Russian accent actually in the Which one was it?
Second Iron Man, I think.
Is it Yeah. She has a Russian accent, and she slowly gets rid of it. So that's kind of like her indication that working with S.H.I.E.L.D. is what gets her out of that. But they also say that training as an international assassin, they give them different accents and stuff like that.
You're right. They would need to be able to switch without it being very noticeable.
Red Guardian had a Russian accent and an American accent, and he still. So like I said, 4 of them, only one of them keeps talking in an American accent.
She liked the American accent.
Whatever.
She felt more connected to her.
Are we going to do what we learned
word.
this week?
Yeah, what did we learn? Joshua, what did you learn this week?
I learned someone can't hold their liquor.
I learned that too. That's right.
Kennedy.
I learned that I was right about Fifth Element, and Josh can suck it.
What about Fifth Element?
We can ask Doc right now, right?
Yeah, he's not drunk.
Okay, Doc. In Fifth Element,
yes.
when Bruce Willis takes out the stones out of the opera singer,
yeah,
is she alive or is she dead?
Oh. I think she's dead, isn't she?
Is that the final answer?
I'm going to go with it, yeah.
You are correct.
Okay, thank you.
She is
All right,
dead.
you got it.
I don't understand what that was point for.
Well, because on the way over here, Kennedy played like this fucking show.
Which I would love to do on the show sometime.
Yeah, it's actually a good thing to do. He played it, and I don't even think
it was a Fifth Element question.
It was
we just went off on a
tangent and tried to
because
find
I
the
said,
answer.
how did they get all them stones in her?
So it was just one of those funny things where he played it to kill time, and the thing only lasted for like 10 minutes because we were trying to figure out the answer to the question. But the funny thing is, when we came to Concave, we asked people, and they were like, "No, she was alive. No, she was dead." And we were like, "No, she was dead." And it was funny. So there you go.
I learned that I haven't drank like that since college, and it was a rough night. But all my friends,
she's full of shit.
Especially the ones in the other room, they took care of me. So thank you guys.
We carried your bitch ass
That's
all the way back.
I said, and the people
we also
in the
know
other
that if you mention Rick and Morty questions, he gets serious.
I will stop and have a conversation with you.
Everybody has that one thing that sobers them up instantly. And
well,
that
Doc
was
had too, but we're not going to talk about the other one.
That was it. So all right, Kennedy, how can they learn about you real quick?
Facebook, TikTok, different things like that. Not gaming so much, so following there's not going to really do much. But hopefully future things once my kids get a little older.
Joshua?
Well, if you want to see me complain about the NBA Finals, you can follow me on Twitter at @GreenEyeBebop. And if you want to see me post my drinking habits and how much fun I'm having at Concave, at Instagram, same thing, GreenEyeBebop. So, yeah, that's it.
If you want to learn more about the Frakkin Nerds, Instagram, YouTube, podcast all over the place, Facebook, and then you can follow me, Doc_Martin, on Twitter if you want to see what's going on. So, for Joshua, who's walking out the door apparently to start drinking some more, Kennedy, who's just chilling back there, this is Doc Martin saying, have a frackin' good week.